The Kooks 1 7/8 inch catted long tube headers are a great choice for any 2015 and newer Mustang GT owner who might be looking to take their exhaust setup to the next level. This kit gives you a classic, aggressive muscle car sound while delivering a pretty good increase in horsepower and torque figures, all while keeping it street legal and slightly more tamed with a set of high-flow catalytic converters than it would be with an off-road set of headers. Now, this one is one of the top options in the category in almost every way: construction, sound, and performance. It's priced at about $1,800, which is worth every penny if you're looking for some of the top-notch long tube headers in that category. Now, the install will always get the full 3 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter because it does require mechanical expertise, and it will test your toolbox and take the better part of a day to get done. Now, if you're in the market for a set of headers, long tubes are the way to go if you're looking for a good increase in power and sound all around, but more so gains at the top end of the RPM range. Long tubes, as opposed to shorties, have a longer primary tube length, which keeps exhaust gases separated from each other and from each cylinder for longer periods of time. The 1 7/8 inch primaries fuse into 3-inch collectors for a smoother exhaust flow. It comes with 3/8 inch laser cut flanges for perfect fitment to your Coyote motor. The sound of a set of long tubes is going to make all the difference as well. You cannot mimic the sound something like this makes. Now, like I said earlier, Kooks is one of the more premium options. Their long tubes include scavenging spikes, which help you reduce turbulence, which translates to having less back pressure and ultimately allows for more power. It also helps to produce a better sound, so you can expect something deep, throaty, and aggressive. The Kooks setup requires the use of a Kooks Y pipe, which is worth noting. When grabbing a set of long tube headers, keep in mind you're going to need to rework parts of your exhaust to make it fit. Going from stock length manifolds to long tubes, there's a big difference in size, so the mid pipe will need to be changed. You want to grab the same brand mid pipe as your long tubes when doing so to promote a perfect fitment and performance. Now, as I mentioned, this one here is the catted option. You can expect those high flow cats, which are not as restrictive as your factory cats. So for those of you not looking for the raspier sound and even louder volume for the off-road long tubes, this is a good way to go and to keep them street legal in most places. You want to check with your local laws and regulations to be sure you're in the clear there. Now, the debate of the 1 7/8 versus 1 5/8 versus 1 3/4 primaries is one that has been beaten to death over and over again on forums for a long time. Now, ultimately, the size of your long tubes can make very little difference, if any, while running a stock or lightly modded motor. Once you get into forced inductions or heavily modded motors, then the long tube primary size would make the difference. The 1 7/8 inch being the larger diameter would be best suited for forced induction setups because it'll actually perform a little better than their smaller tubing. Forced induction setups produce more airflow. More airflow works better with bigger tubing. However, if you're running a stock setup, it would work just fine without hindering performance. You just might not see as much of a gain as you would with the forced induction setup. It's just going to be used to its fullest potential with those higher horsepower applications. If you're running a stock setup, you've got a bunch of options that I just mentioned, but if you have that supercharger or forced induction, the 1 7/8 would be the way to go. This particular set comes in at around $1,800, which is on the higher end of the spectrum, but for a good reason. It boasts the 304 stainless steel with the mandrel bent tubing for the increased airflow and efficient exhaust gas movement. Scavenging spikes are built in, which some less expensive options don't offer, and the flanges are made from original CAD data for perfect fitment. And honestly, it just sounds amazing. Those scavenging spikes also help direct the airflow to the center of the collector, which streamlines the flow for that better sound and power. It's little things like that that makes the Kooks long tubes one of the more premiums in the category. The installation for a set of long tubes, no matter which one you go with, is going to get the full 3 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. You're looking at about a day's worth of work, and you want the entire toolbox on deck for this one. It's something I'd recommend for the professionals or those with some serious experience. There isn't a ton of room to work with when installing long tubes on the 5-liter Coyote motor, and if you're not working with a lift, it gets even harder. If you're not comfortable tackling it yourself, there's no shame handing it over to a professional or your local trusted shop to get done properly. So at the end of the day, if you're looking for a set of catted long tube headers for your 2015 and newer GT, then the Kooks 1 7/8 inch option has some of the best quality, features, sounds, and gains, and you can get your set at AmericanMuscle.com.